Welcome back to our second half. Thank you to the audience out there of like 5 or 6 or 6. Hey, give or take, you know, it's hard to, you know. So, who's coming up first? Why, it's Peggy Morrison coming up first. Give her a nice round of applause. She hasn't been here in a while, so we got to bring her back before she gets a chance to escape once. Oh my God.
Thank you. This has been, there's been quite a bit of comedy tonight, but I have actually quite a serious poem. So November 14th was the day of the attacks in Paris, and I'm surprised when I brought this out that I realized it's been almost a month. But I wrote this on November 14th. That was the day that we found out that one of the people who was killed was a young college student from Cal State Long Beach named Noemi Gonzalez. And although I didn't know her, never met her, when I saw her picture and I read about her being killed, it hit me very hard. And I wrote this poem about, you know, out of the thoughts and feelings I had about when I saw her picture. So I feel like she's one of our own. Dedicated to Noemi Gonzalez, born October 19th, 1992 in Whittier, California, and she died November 14th, 2015 in Paris, France. Noemi, I was your white teacher who loved you, treasured the smiles that light up your beautiful face. I encouraged you to experiment, to believe, step out strong, to take the world as yours. Me, learning from parents, learning their perspectives, ways of talking, becoming the liaison into the new society, the destination country of immigrants. Meeting the dads, but becoming intimate with this army of moms, one by one, talking quietly in the afternoons. A group of us making tamales, laughing, or challenging the school board, allies, feeling the strength in our numbers. Susana, remember the time I asked you and the other moms to drive the kids to the field trip, and you didn't want to? You had never driven on the freeway before. It'll be okay, I said. I'll drive, and my car will be the lead car in the caravan. We'll drive only on surface streets, not on the freeway. Follow me. We'll do it together, and we'll be able to take the kids to the beach, the tide pools, the aquariums, and to see the whales. Smiles then, squatting to touch the anemones with the children, and loving the slow motion of the whale up close. Back at school, reading the books with the eager kids, new eyes. Glad we had done it. Glad we'd taken that risk. Meeting with Maribel's mom, I'm saying, your daughter is brilliant, huge academic potential, your shining star. I see that. She is beautifully, gracefully, modest, and quiet, and emanates tranquility as you have taught her. She is Tonatzin. She is Guadalupe. I love her. I love her as she is. At the same time, I need to tell you that to be successful in school in the United States, she'll need to learn to be more assertive and outspoken. She has wonderful ideas, and we want to hear them. She needs to show what she knows, because in these schools, silence might be interpreted as ignorance. She can practice with me. In my classroom, she'll be safe. The times I talked you into letting your daughter come to science camp, when you felt safer keeping her at home. I went to the house, sat at your family table, and said, I'll be with her. I'll take care of her. I'll make sure she's safe. And then, marveling in the dark at the Yosemite stars, the redwoods, the river, the hike, learning the rocks, climbing, listening in the cave, I was so happy I had convinced you. Years later, I saw Patricia in the parking lot of the supermarket with her toddlers, and she hugged me, saying, Maestra Peggy, I will never forget the week we spent in Yosemite. It was the best week in all my school years. She's strong, I told you. She's smart. She can go to college. She can become a doctor, a librarian, a lawyer, president. I was the white teacher, that you trusted. To teach you about my country and to help your daughter reach your dream, and you trusted me to protect her. And Noemi, she achieved your dream. The reason of your sacrifice and your tired back. She went to college. She traveled the world. I'm so sorry. I couldn't keep her safe.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you, Peggy and Philip. Come on up here, my friend. Then we have Clara, Greg, and Clyde always to kick us out, as they say in France. Well, they say that. Give a nice round of applause. This guy hasn't been here in a while.
He's been here, he just hasn't gotten up.
Now, don't get personal.
Ooh. Smooth ball tonight. Firekeeper. Philip Chips, Star Quilt proud after a 3-day bender. They say the power skipped over because he shot and killed a man in the AIM Wars. The power will not dwell in one who has taken a human life. The other Philip, a white wannabe, you are not a healer, she said. Go assure the orientation of the pipe, a small task to satisfy a great need, to witness the unraveling of a boy, purifying for Vision Quest, at sunset on Pine Ridge, South Dakota. Godfrey and Victoria separated at the door, call and response, the grandmother morning song, and I starting the fire in the legs of dusk, witnessing the most beautiful moment of life as they sang that boy apart, unwinding him. So basically, I was asked to participate in preparation for a Vision Quest, and in that ritual, there is a sweat lodge, and the celebrant, the boy, is inside the lodge with the teacher, and his mother was on the outside. So there was just 2 people inside, and the mother was on the outside, and she sang this song. That was the most beautiful song I'd ever heard. And I have really no way to describe how sublime it was. And I asked her later what it was about, because it was sung in Lakota. And she said it was a mourning song because they were unraveling the boy from his ego in preparation and purification for the Vision Quest. And it was a very spectacular moment to witness. So this is as close as I could get to really catching that moment. Many years later.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, Joanne, you will be coming back, we trust. All right. Thank you. And now, Clara Sue before Greg and then Clyde. She's deceptively gentle, but I'll let this.
I will be featured next week.
Yeah, she is the feature next week.
I translated Lao Tzu's Dao Te Ching last year, and I'm working on a manuscript right now where I put my translation together with my poems. So I brought 2. They don't have any kind of relationship with each other, but whatever the translation is, somehow it serves as a starting point for me to match it with a poem of my own. So this one is number 15. This is the translation. The skillful scholars of olden times are subtle and mysterious in their penetration, deep and not understood, because they are not to be understood. Hence, they are forced to be described as such, halting, like wading through a river in the winter, hesitant, like fearful of all the neighbors, solemn, like a guest, expensive, like melting ice, honest, like a simple log, grand, like a valley, obscure, like muddy water. Who can use stillness to bring clarity out of turbidity? Who can use calmness to bring movements toward life? Those who practice the Tao don't wish to be filled. Only when man is not filled, then there is no degeneration and ever renewing. This is mine. 12 reasons of rejection. Too good looking, too ordinary, too tall, too short, too skinny, too plump, too quiet, too talkative, too hip, too dull, too smart, too slow. 12 reasons of attraction. Good looking, but not vain. Ordinary, but not stupid. Tall, but graceful. Short, but exudes confidence. Skinny, but not on a diet. Plump, but charming. Quiet, but not moody. Talkative, but knowledgeable. Hip, but not a spender. Dull, but kind-hearted. Smart, but not showy. Slow, but persevere. Okay. This is number 25. This is the translation. Something was molded into existence, birth before heaven and earth, silent, reclusive, changeless, it stands alone, endless, it circumambulates. It may be called the mother of heaven and earth. I don't know this name, but compelled to give the letter Tao and name it big. Big as to diverge, diverge as to go afar as to return. Therefore, the Tao is big, heaven is big, earth is big, man is also big. Within the domain, they are the 4 bigs, and man lives in one of them. Man is governed by earth, earth is governed by heaven, heaven is governed by Tao, Tao is governed by nature. This is mine. James hit Mary on the head. Corey smears booger all over his face. Emily says she won't play anymore. Julia lets loose the guinea pigs, net there dump a bucket of sand down the long winding slide. And Tony, oh Tony, still as a statue, gazes at everyone in a daze. James' mom, Mary's mom, Corey's dad, Emily's mom, Julia's dad, Ned's mom, Tony's mom have all gone somewhere. Where Tony fires Julia, where Emily schemes for divorce, where Ned feigns sickness, where James robs a bank, where Corey runs a red light, where Mary, oh Mary, you sweetheart, bakes a dozen cookies.
I like your versions. All right, Mr. Greg Pond, give him a nice round of applause. We have our mini evening. Woo-hoo! I tell you, one of those times.
Good evening. Thanks for staying. I first want to share there's going to be a poetry reading this Monday, the December 14th at Unitarian Universalist Church on Franklin Geary. It's Outcry for Ashraf Fayyad. And very basically, quickly it says, this has been a horrific month, not only for the victims, presumably of ISIS, but also for free speech in Saudi Arabia. Ashraf Fayyad is spending his 35th birthday in prison, convicted of apostasy, which is renouncing religion, for a book written in 2008 on the life of a Palestinian refugee, or for a video he showed of a man being lashed, or simply for speaking out and writing about Saudi Arabia's repression of individual freedom. His original sentence was 4 years in prison and 800 lashes. Upon appeal, he was given a death sentence.
Wow. We're going to do an event for the same purposes here in January, I think January 12th or 13th.
Is it, so what's the calendar for it?
This is December 14th, Monday, December 14th.
So what are they doing that night?
They're reading poetry.
And people just can come and read poetry?
They're poets who are selected.
Oh, okay, that's what
yeah,
I'm saying. And so there's a list of them on there?
Yeah, Jack
okay.
Gershwin and Cora Major and Alejandro Mucurdi.
The global event is in January. We're going to do it, I think it's the 13th, right? 13th here.
Because the global event is on the 14th. All right, okay, sorry about that.
So I just want to share this particular one. This one's called Teddy. One day while walking by, past lit candles, balloons, and a teddy bear tied to a no parking pole, a makeshift memorial, or a ghetto headstone. Flowers wrapped in tissue, a poor man's wreath, red roses scattered on concrete. One day while walking by, past a storefront so quiet, no sounds of last breath gasping, fingers grasping for ladder's last step. No one sees, no one snitches. Cops will canvass, but will find no eyewitness. A string of shots left the block in shock. A string of shots left the block on lock, left neighbors in shock, heads bowed, tongue-tied, and crying at the stained curbside. One day while walking by, past cold candles and limp balloons tied to a pole with a photo of the poor soul who died. Past Teddy barely hanging, looking tattered with matted hair, one eye dangling by a thread, the other eye shedding a tear. A painful reminder of what happened here a mere 3 weeks ago. No suspects to find, no one's dropped a dime, said they heard the thing, let alone saw the crime. Who will it be next time, next victim, next corner shrine? Will anyone ever take the time to find who killed Teddy Bear? Doesn't anybody care?
Great, Bob. Thank you. And now, Clyde Always, our mini feature, the Clyde Always Show, is warming up.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, come on to step right up, folks. Want to grab yourself a front row seat before the gauntlet. They're going fast. You don't want to miss this. It's time for another exciting installment of the Clyde Always Show. With me, you're always clever, always handsome, always charming host, Clyde Always, and I ain't no common carnival barker, thanks for that. I am the bard of the lower eight.
How about your feature? I mean, your golden mic.
All right, so I host an open mic night at Cafe International on Haight Street at Fillmore every Friday at 7:30 if you want to come down and tell
And I go
jokes
down,
or do a magic trick.
and I go down there regularly, and yes, there's a young crowd, but hey, elders need to show up, balance everything out. We want them to come here too. So please, come. Don't be afraid.
what Richard said. Yeah, please come out. And it's a ton of fun, you know. It's like the summer of love, you know. We got the patio. It's a vortex for thinkers, dreamers, philosophers, revolutionaries, you know. So come check out this scene. It's nothing but fun. Here's some of my brand new poetry, everybody.
All right.
This one's called 3 a.m. I took some Renaissance painters out for donuts, high and 48th. Michelangelo peeled a Tangelo upside down. We all said, wow. Botticelli bought a jelly. Asked the clerk, how? Fresh, the clerk said, next to now. So Sandy sucked the good stuff out. We all, and the clerk said, wow, wow, wow. Da Vinci flying on LSD. Drank a sea of boba tea. We all in the transvestite said, wow, wow, wow. Once he knew the Wi-Fi code, he squatted down on the commode, and that's where Bruegel Googled. And he alone moaned, ow, ow, ow. Oh, Reuben, feeling drunk and swervy, laid the Mac on slack and curvy, and munched a dozen chocolate holes. We all, and some profiteroles, said, wow, 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 and holy cow. Thanks, everybody. That's 3 a.m.
You were late night and early morning.
Yeah. This next one's called Laptop Bunk. I can like that, I said. Let me text you a thread, and I'll tag you if you'll follow me. Because I'm searching for friends, and I'm hip to the trends on my Apple phone 73. Yet I read my ebooks in remotest of nooks as I sip on a $6 tea. Only sound that I hear's from a bud in my ear as I download a season of Glee. The connection's so quick, any link that you click's like a leprechaun, we feed McGee. In the faintest of glows, am I pressing my nose toward a sunset on Circuitry C? And I'm either too dumb, or more likely too numb to imagine a world where I'm free. Who was the one who had the poem? Oh, that was Gary Murphy.
That
was really insightful stuff. How much time do I got?
Like 4 minutes.
All right. This is the tale of Mean Marvin. Once upon a time, there was a little boy with a scruffy ginger top and freckles all over his face, and his name was Marvin McMinahan. And Marvin was a meanie. He was a downright vicious bully. He loved to smack the other little boys with skateboards and baseball bats, and the little girls, he'd stab them with pencils. He had a whole closet full of assorted knickknacks and bouncy balls and video games that he robbed or lifted from the other kids at school. Marvin was only 10 years old, but he was already the most hated person in his whole town, seeing as how he was such a miserable and sadistic little prick. And I know what you think. Maybe this Marvin kid had a bum deal. Maybe he had abusive parents or something. Unfortunately, I know that this was not the case. You see, Marvin's mother was a kind and loving homemaker, and Marvin's other mother was a mild-mannered architect, and even they were afraid of their son. They'd often curse under their breath. It's that lousy sperm donor. But I digress. It so happens. Now, one sunny day at a secluded corner of a sunny playground, Marvin was burning assorted insect victims under a magnifying glass. You see, he loved to torture all things that could be described as puny, and most especially those that couldn't easily defend themselves. When, all of a sudden, out of the bushes came another little boy that Marvin didn't recognize, but he saw right away that the boy was skinny and wispy and weak. So Marvin dropped his magnifying glass and running up to the kid, grabbed him by the scruff of his neck and shouted right in his face, "Give me whatever you got, you little runt!" Marvin had employed this tact many times before, and it had always worked perfectly, so you can imagine his surprise when that little boy just stood there, stoic and brave, saying and doing nothing. Marvin raised his fist and growled, "Did you hear me, twerp? Give me what you got now, or I'm gonna knock all your teeth out and stick them on my pillow tonight." The little boy stood with his shoulders square and his chin held high and did not produce any bubble gum or lunch money. Marvin roared and stomped his feet and cracked his knuckles one by one, and that's when the little boy started to hum. And he hummed the most beautiful song, and it started out low and it built and rose to the grandest of crescendos. In fact, it was the most perfect and ingenious musical performance ever delivered on planet Earth. But the hard heart of Marvin McMinahan remained unmoved as his fist plowed through that little boy's face. And then Marvin dropped to his knees and looked on in horror as the entirety of that little boy's body disintegrated into a massive menacing cloud of bugs of all shapes and sizes and colors. Bugs from all over the world. And they swarmed him and bit him and stung him and creepy crawled all over. He screamed and pleaded and begged for help. Yet through all his desperate sobs and moans, no one came rushing to Marvin's aid. Not a soul. Then the bugs all flew off in different directions, and Big Bad Marvin McMinahan just sat there, hugging his knees and sucking his thumb, and weeping and blubbering, and nobody at all. The next day, Marvin was late for school, but he arrived just in time for show and tell, and he was dragging behind him 2 gigantic black plastic sacks full of all the toys and goodies and knickknacks he'd stolen over the years, and he returned them all one by one, a somber, sincere apology. Then, believe it or not, Big Bad Mean Marvin McMinahan took his seat and sat with folded hands just like this. And he looked on attentive and polite and pleasant as one of his classmates stepped up at the front of the class, a little box, and he said, "Check it out, these are my Madagascar hissing cockroaches." And that's when Marvin's underpants went from clean to dirty. The end. Thanks for listening.
The ultimate act is, of course, distributing the door prizes. If Clara would kindly just shuffle them quickly.
Get me to the top, Clara. Get me to the top.
Give us a Darrow, Michael,
At the top.
Dante, The Brig, Heartbreak Ridge. Garrett's donating one of his. Blood of Requited Love. Okay. And then, of course, Margaret Drabble, thank you so much. And then if you want, you can choose to pick the theme for next week, decide to be the mini feature or the keynote. Those are there, sitting there, thank you. And the first drum roll, please, just so we take care of business here. Where'd my glasses go?
You sat on it.
I did. Mr. Sanderell, you're the first winner of the evening, so called.
First, I moved myself. It calls me up.
So any one of these fine prizes.
That's what I donated.
Well, then don't take that.
I know, I'm just letting you know.
Okay, well that way I don't
Oh,
have to.
okay, brought up on God.
See, he's overacting.
All right.
Decisions.
Oh, Richard, you're gonna do my keynote.
This was close.
All right. Thank you,
Good
and
to go.
then I have another delivery of this. Hiya! Mr. Owen Dunkel.
Hey.
Come on up here, Mr. Owen, and take one of these fantastic things with, like I say, designed with your mind. Oh, he goes for the break. And Clara. She passes. Mr. David Aaron, he does not passes any of these years.
Maxi teacher.
Okay.
You gonna bring your sacks?
I might, maybe I'll bring the sets.
Thank you.
All right. Oh, yeah, I got lots of stuff.
Yeah, well, you know, we appreciate that. It's going to be fun. Miss Morrison. A winner you are. And winners you shall be.
Still here? Oh,
Yes.
good, I'm gonna be here.
Oh, Garrett goes. Thank you so much.
Good book.
Good book.
Absolutely good book.
Thank you.
Louis.
Too much stuff.
Too much stuff.
Thank you very much.
All right. Would you care to give us the theme for next week? Because that's one of the
Not
things.
that anybody ever hears of it.
You can give us a theme for next week.
A theme?
Yes.
Okay.
What would you like?
Give him some time, he has to think about this.
Okay, let me know.
Don't have themes right.
That was one of the worst one of the evening, but thank you. Stephen. Any one of these may be yours.
Any one of these?
Yes, any one of those. See, it happens. All right, there we go. Thank you. Hello.
Let's see what there is here.
Let's see what there is. Mr. Phillip. Yeah. Clyde?
Yes.
This is the remaining, what's left? This is what's left, if you care to take this.
It almost made me cry.
Okay, all right. Would anybody like this, just since that was the last one to go? Margaret Drabble, A Natural Curiosity. Masterly tapestry of characters and events, Drabble's fiction has achieved a panoramic vision of contemporary life.
You're giving it away?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Okay, there we go.
My aunt liked it.
All right. So thank you out there for listening in. Claire is our feature next week, so come to that. It'll be very good. We have David Erdreich and Richard Sandarella, and of course I'll be here as always. Thank you and good night. Have a good one. Give yourself a round of applause. We're square for the one that trapezoid.
Okay.
And thank you out there. Take care of this now.